Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about something that surprises many English learners. Maybe it happens to you too. You study English every day. You learn new words. You watch videos. You listen to podcasts. You read books and stories. Sometimes you understand a lot, but then someone asks you a simple question in English. Maybe they ask, "How are you?" Suddenly, your mind becomes blank. Your heart starts beating faster. You know the answer, but your mouth does not move. The words stay inside your head. If this has happened to you, do not worry. You are not alone. Millions of English learners experience the same problem. Today, we will discover why this happens and how you can start changing it. Chapter 1. Why your mouth does not speak. Even when your brain knows English. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner named Adam. Adam loved English. He studied it for many years. He knew hundreds of words. He understood movies better than before. He could read simple articles without much difficulty. Every day he spent time learning. But one day he met a tourist who spoke English. The tourist smiled and asked, "How are you?" Adam knew this question very well. He had seen it hundreds of times in books. He had heard it in videos. He even knew several ways to answer it. But when the moment came, he froze. He felt nervous. He forgot everything. After a few seconds, he finally answered with only one word. Then he felt disappointed. He asked himself, "Why can I understand English but not speak it?" Maybe you have asked yourself the same question. The answer is very simple. Knowing English and speaking English are not exactly the same thing. Many people think that if they know enough words and grammar, speaking will happen automatically. But that is not always true. Knowing English is one skill. Speaking English is another skill. They work together, but they are not identical. Think about sports. You can read many books about swimming. You can watch hundreds of videos about swimming. You can learn every rule and technique. But if you never enter the water, you will not become a good swimmer. Speaking English works in a similar way. Learning information about English is important, but your mouth also needs practice. Many learners spend years becoming excellent listeners and readers. They listen to lessons every day. They read stories every day. These activities are wonderful. They help you learn vocabulary and understand the language better. But there is one problem. Listening and reading are receiving activities. You receive English. Speaking is a producing activity. You create English. If you spend all your time receiving English and almost no time producing English, your speaking skill grows very slowly. This is why many learners become what I call silent learners. They know a lot of English inside their heads, but they rarely use their mouths to speak it. Now let us talk about something very important. Speaking is not only a mental skill, it is also a physical skill. Many people never think about this. When you speak, your tongue moves, your lips move, your jaw moves. Many small muscles work together. These muscles need training just like any other part of your body. Imagine someone who wants to play the guitar. At first, their fingers move slowly. They make mistakes. The music does not sound smooth. But after weeks and months of practice, their fingers become faster and stronger. The same thing happens when you speak English. Your mouth becomes better through practice and repetition. Think about a child learning their first language. Children do not spend years studying grammar rules before they start talking. They listen, and then they try to speak. Their first words are not perfect. They make many mistakes. Sometimes nobody understands them, but they keep speaking every day. They use their mouths again and again. Slowly, their speaking becomes clearer. Then they learn more words. Then they learn longer sentences. Speaking grows through use. The more they speak, the better they become. Many English learners do the opposite. They spend years waiting for perfection. They think, I will start speaking when my grammar is perfect. Or they think, I will start speaking when I know thousands of words. Unfortunately, that day never comes. There is always another grammar rule to learn. There is always another word to memorize. As a result, they keep studying but never train their speaking muscles. This creates a big gap between understanding and speaking. I remember meeting a learner who understood almost everything in an English video. His listening was excellent. His vocabulary was strong. But when I asked him to describe his day in English, he struggled. He stopped after every few words. He searched for answers. He translated in his head. Why? Because his brain knew English, but his mouth had not practiced enough. His knowledge was strong, but his speaking habit was weak. This is why reading and listening alone are not enough. They are important. They are necessary. But they are only part of the journey. Imagine trying to become a great football player by watching matches every day. Watching helps you learn. But eventually you must go onto the field and play. English works the same way. At some point, you must open your mouth and speak. The good news is that this problem has nothing to do with intelligence. It does not mean you are bad at languages. It does not mean you are too old. It does not mean you lack talent. Many successful English speakers once struggled exactly like this. The difference is that they started training their mouths. They stopped waiting for perfection. They started speaking even when they felt nervous. They started speaking even when they made mistakes. So if you understand English but cannot speak easily yet, do not feel discouraged. Your brain may already know much more English than you think. The real issue is often very simple. Your speaking muscles need more training. Your mouth needs more practice. Just like an athlete trains their body, you must train your speaking muscles. And the exciting part is that anyone can do this. You do not need special talent. You do not need perfect grammar. You only need consistent practice. In the next chapter, I will show you simple daily exercises that can train your mouth to speak English more naturally. These exercises are easy, beginner-friendly, and very powerful. Some of them take only a few minutes a day, but together they can make a huge difference. So stay with me, because now that you know the real reason behind the problem, it is time to learn how to solve it. Chapter 2. The simple daily exercises that train your mouth. We learned something very important. The problem is not that your brain cannot learn English. The problem is often that your mouth has not received enough training. Now the big question is this: how do we train the mouth to speak English? The good news is that the answer is much simpler than many people think. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner named Sarah. She loved English, but she almost never spoke it. Every day she listened to lessons and watched videos. She understood a lot, but speaking felt difficult. One day she decided to try something different. She started talking to herself in English for just 5 minutes every day. Nothing complicated. She talked about her room. She talked about her breakfast. She talked about the weather. At first, it felt strange. Sometimes she stopped because she could not find the right word. Sometimes she made mistakes. But she continued every day. After a few weeks, something interesting happened. Speaking became easier. Her mouth moved faster. Simple sentences came more naturally. She felt more comfortable using English. What changed? Did she suddenly become more intelligent? No. Did she learn thousands of new words? No. She simply gave her mouth daily practice. This is exactly what many learners need. They do not need more information. They need more speaking practice. Today, I will share some simple exercises that absolute beginners can start using immediately. The first exercise is reading aloud. This is one of the easiest and most powerful speaking exercises. Take a short story, a lesson, or even a few simple sentences. Then read them out loud. Do not read silently. Let your mouth move. Let your voice come out. When you read aloud, your brain, eyes, ears, and mouth work together. This helps build a stronger connection between understanding English and speaking English. When I was learning, I often read simple stories aloud. Sometimes I read the same paragraph many times. At first, my speech sounded slow. Some words felt difficult, but after repeating them several times, they became easier. Reading aloud is like taking your speaking muscles to the gym. Every repetition makes them stronger. The second exercise is sentence repetition. This exercise is very simple. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it immediately. For example, if you hear, "I am happy today," say, "I am happy today." If you hear, "The weather is beautiful," repeat, "The weather is beautiful." The goal is not perfection. The goal is practice. Let's do a little practice together right now. Repeat after me. I can speak English. Good. Now repeat. Every day I am improving. Very good. One more. Mistakes help me learn. Excellent. Did you notice something? When you repeat sentences, you are teaching your mouth how English sounds and feels. The more you repeat, the more natural speaking becomes. The third exercise is called shadowing. Many successful language learners use this method. Shadowing means listening to a speaker and trying to speak at nearly the same time. You copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. Imagine that you are becoming the speaker's shadow. Wherever the speaker goes, you follow. At first, shadowing may feel difficult. The speaker might seem too fast. That is completely normal. Start with short and easy videos. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat. Then slowly try speaking along with the speaker. Over time, your pronunciation and fluency will improve. The fourth exercise is copying short English phrases. Instead of memorizing single words, learn small groups of words that people use every day. For example, how are you? Nice to meet you. I don't know. Can you help me? These phrases are useful because they are ready to use in real conversations. Think about how children learn language. They do not learn one word at a time. They learn chunks and phrases. Then they use those phrases again and again. English learners can do the same thing. Now let us talk about something that many learners avoid: speaking out loud. Some learners spend hours studying silently. They read silently. They listen silently. They think silently. Then they wonder why speaking feels difficult. The answer is simple. Speaking is a skill that must be practiced aloud. Your mouth cannot learn to speak if it stays closed all the time. Imagine someone who wants to become a singer. Would they practice only inside their head? Of course not. They would sing out loud every day. English speaking works the same way. Your mouth must hear itself producing English. Another important thing to remember is that mistakes are not the enemy. Many learners fear mistakes so much that they stop speaking. But mistakes are actually part of the training process. Every mistake teaches you something. Every mistake shows you where you can improve. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. Nobody learns without falling a few times. Those small mistakes help the body learn balance. Speaking English is similar. Every mistake helps your brain and mouth work together more effectively. I remember a learner who constantly worried about grammar mistakes. Before speaking, he checked every sentence in his head. As a result, he spoke very slowly. Later, he decided to focus more on communication and less on perfection. He made more mistakes at first, but he also improved much faster. His confidence grew because he was actually using the language. This is one of the biggest secrets of language learning. Confidence does not come before practice. Confidence comes from practice. The more you speak, the more comfortable you feel. The more comfortable you feel, the more you want to speak. Now here is a surprising lesson. Many people believe they need hours of study every day to become better speakers. But that is not always true. 10 minutes of active speaking practice can often be more powerful than several hours of passive learning. Think about it. 10 minutes of reading aloud, 10 minutes of sentence repetition, 10 minutes of shadowing. These activities force your mouth to work. They build real speaking ability. They turn knowledge into action. This does not mean listening and reading are unimportant. They are very important. But speaking practice must become part of your daily routine too. Even a small amount of speaking every day can create amazing results over time. So starting today, do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until your vocabulary becomes huge. Do not wait until your grammar feels perfect. Open your mouth and start practicing. Read aloud. Repeat sentences. Shadow native speakers. Copy useful phrases. Speak to yourself for a few minutes every day. In the next chapter, we will talk about another challenge that stops many learners from speaking. Even when they practice, many people still freeze when talking to others. Why does this happen? And how can you stop overthinking and start speaking naturally? Let's find out in the next chapter. Chapter 3. How to stop freezing and start speaking naturally. In the last chapter, we learned how to train our mouths through daily speaking exercises. But many learners still face another problem. They can speak English when they are alone. They can read aloud. They can repeat sentences. They can even talk to themselves. But the moment another person starts speaking English, everything changes. Their heart beats faster. Their mind becomes confused. Their mouth becomes silent. If this sounds familiar, do not worry. Today, we will learn why this happens and how to overcome it. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner named Daniel. Every day he practiced English in his room. He spoke to himself while looking in the mirror. He answered practice questions. He read stories aloud. Everything seemed fine. But one day he joined an online English conversation group. When someone asked him a simple question, he suddenly froze. He wanted to answer, but the words would not come out. He became nervous. His mind felt empty. After the conversation ended, he felt frustrated. He asked himself, "Why can I speak English alone but not with other people?" The answer is very common. Many learners are not struggling with English. They are struggling with fear and overthinking. When they speak alone, there is no pressure. Nobody is watching. Nobody is listening carefully. But when another person joins the conversation, many learners start worrying. They think about mistakes. They think about grammar. They think about pronunciation. They think about what the other person might think. Their brain becomes busy with worry instead of communication. One of the biggest reasons people freeze is because they try to create perfect sentences. Before speaking, they check every word. They check every grammar rule. They try to build a beautiful sentence in their minds. By the time they finish thinking, the conversation has already moved on. Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do today?" Instead of answering simply, you start searching for perfect grammar. You start translating every word. You start worrying about mistakes. Suddenly, a simple question feels difficult. This happens to many learners every day. The truth is that communication is more important than perfection. If someone understands your message, you have already succeeded. Speaking is not a grammar competition. Speaking is about sharing ideas. This is why simple English is so powerful. Many learners believe they must use long and complicated sentences to sound intelligent. But in reality, simple English often creates the best conversations. For example, imagine someone asks, "How was your day?" You could spend 20 seconds creating a complicated answer. Or you could simply say, "It was good. I worked, studied English, and relaxed at home." The second answer is simple, clear, and natural. Many learners are surprised when they discover something important. Native speakers often use simple English too. They do not spend all day creating long and complicated sentences. In everyday conversations, they use short and direct language. Think about common conversations. "How are you?" "I'm good." "What are you doing?" "I'm studying." "Are you busy?" "A little." These answers are simple, yet they are perfectly natural. This is a very important lesson. Fluency does not come from using difficult words. Fluency comes from expressing ideas smoothly and comfortably. Now let us talk about something that can make speaking much easier. Speaking patterns. A speaking pattern is a sentence structure that you can use again and again. Instead of creating every sentence from the beginning, you use a pattern that is already familiar. For example, I like, I want, I need, I think, I feel. These simple patterns can help you talk about almost anything. I like reading. I like music. I like learning English. I think this movie is interesting. I think practice is important. I think I can improve. When you learn useful patterns, speaking becomes faster because your brain does not need to build every sentence from zero. Another helpful tool is sentence chunks. A sentence chunk is a group of words that people often use together. For example, to be honest. In my opinion, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me think. These chunks save time. Instead of translating word by word, you use ready-made pieces of English. Imagine someone asks you a difficult question. Instead of becoming silent, you can say, "That's a good question. Let me think." Now you have a few extra seconds to prepare your answer. This makes conversations feel much easier. Another common problem is translation. Many learners translate every sentence from their native language into English. This creates delays and hesitation. Imagine that someone asks, "What is your favorite food?" If you first create the answer in your native language and then translate it into English, speaking becomes slow. But if you practice answering common questions directly in English, everything becomes faster. For example, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is pizza. Where do you live? I live in a small city. What do you do? I am a student. Practice these common questions often. Over time, your answers will become automatic. Now let us talk about confidence. Many learners say, I will speak when I become confident. But confidence does not work that way. Think about riding a bicycle. You do not become confident first and then start riding. You start riding first. Then confidence grows through practice. Speaking English works exactly the same way. You speak, you make mistakes, you learn, you improve. Then confidence appears. Confidence is the result of action, not the starting point. I remember meeting a learner who was afraid of speaking because he thought his English was not good enough. For months, he avoided conversations. Then he challenged himself to speak a little every day. At first, he felt nervous. He made mistakes. Sometimes he forgot words, but he continued. A few months later, he was having conversations with much less fear. What changed? His confidence grew because of practice. This is a lesson every English learner should remember. Do not wait for confidence. Create confidence through action. Every conversation is practice. Every mistake is practice. Every sentence is practice. The more you speak, the easier speaking becomes. So if you sometimes freeze during conversations, remember this. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need perfect pronunciation. You do not need perfect sentences. Focus on communication. Use simple English. Use speaking patterns. Use sentence chunks. Practice common questions. Stop trying to sound perfect and start trying to communicate. When you focus on communication instead of perfection, speaking becomes easier, faster, and much more enjoyable. And the best part is that anyone can do this. No matter your age, your background, or your current level, you can become a better speaker by practicing simple communication every day. In the next chapter, we will bring everything together. You will learn a complete daily mouth training plan that can help you build real speaking fluency step by step. We will combine everything you have learned into one simple routine that you can start using immediately. Stay with me, because the final chapter may be the most important one of all. Chapter 4. The Daily Mouth Training Plan that Builds Real Fluency. We have reached the final chapter. So far, we have learned something very important. Speaking English is not only about knowledge, it is also about training. Your brain may already know many English words and sentences, but your mouth must learn how to use them comfortably and naturally. Today, we will bring everything together and create a simple daily plan that can help you build real fluency step by step. Let me start with a story. There was a learner named Emma. For years, she avoided speaking English. She listened to lessons. She watched videos. She read books. But whenever she had a chance to speak, she stayed silent. She was afraid of making mistakes. She thought her English was not good enough. Every time someone spoke English to her, she became nervous. One day, Emma decided to stop waiting for confidence. She decided to practice speaking every day, even if it was only for a few minutes. She did not try to be perfect. She simply focused on training her mouth. At first, progress felt slow. Some days were difficult. Some days she made many mistakes, but she continued. After a few months, something amazing happened. She was speaking more naturally. She was answering questions faster. She was having conversations without freezing. Today, she speaks English every day with confidence. What changed? Did she suddenly become more talented? No. Did she memorize thousands of new grammar rules? No. She simply practiced consistently. She trained her mouth every day. Now let us review the most important lessons from this video. First, speaking is a physical skill. Just like riding a bicycle or playing a musical instrument, speaking improves through practice. Second, repetition creates fluency. The more you repeat English, the more natural it becomes. Third, simple English is often better than perfect English. Communication matters more than perfection. These lessons can completely change the way you learn English. Now let me show you a simple daily mouth training routine. This routine takes only 15 to 20 minutes a day. Almost everyone can find 15 minutes. The secret is not practicing for many hours. The secret is practicing consistently. Start with 5 minutes of reading aloud. Choose a short story, a lesson, or even a few paragraphs from a book. Read slowly and clearly. Let your mouth move. Let your voice come out. Do not worry if your pronunciation is not perfect. The goal is to train your speaking muscles. Every sentence you read is exercise for your mouth. After that, spend 3 minutes repeating sentences. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it. Listen again and repeat again. Try simple sentences first. For example, I enjoy learning English. Repeat it several times. Then move to another sentence. Repetition helps your mouth become comfortable with common English patterns. Next, spend 3 or 4 minutes shadowing. Choose a short video or audio recording with clear English. Listen carefully and try to speak along with the speaker. Copy the pronunciation. Copy the rhythm. Copy the speed. Do not worry if you cannot follow perfectly. The goal is to imitate and practice. Little by little, your speaking will become smoother. Now, spend 3 minutes talking to yourself. This is one of the most powerful exercises. Talk about your day. Talk about your plans. Talk about what you can see around you. You can say, "Today I woke up early, I ate breakfast, then I watched an English lesson." Keep speaking even if your sentences are simple. Remember, simple English is good English. Finally, spend 2 or 3 minutes answering common questions. Ask yourself questions and answer them aloud. What is your name? My name is Emma. What do you do? I am a student. What did you do today? I studied English and watched a video. Practice the same questions every day. Over time, your answers will become automatic. You will no longer need to stop and translate every word. This entire routine takes only 15 to 20 minutes. Yet it trains all the important speaking skills. It trains your mouth. It trains your confidence. It trains your ability to think and respond in English. Now let us talk about something very important. Many learners expect huge changes after one day or 1 week. When they do not see immediate results, they become discouraged. But fluency does not work that way. Think about planting a tree. On the first day, you plant a seed. On the second day, you water it. On the third day, you water it again. At first, nothing seems to happen. But under the ground, the roots are growing. Then one day a small plant appears. Later it becomes stronger. Eventually it becomes a large tree. Speaking English grows in the same way. One day of practice may not seem important. One conversation may not seem important. One sentence may not seem important. But all of these small actions add up. A learner who practices for 15 minutes every day will improve much more than a learner who studies for 5 hours once a month. Small daily actions create big results. I remember a learner who felt frustrated because he could not speak fluently after a few weeks. He wanted fast results, but he continued practicing anyway. 6 months later, he listened to an old recording of himself speaking English. He could not believe the difference. His speech was smoother. His pronunciation was clearer. His confidence was stronger. The improvement was real because he practiced consistently. This is an important lesson for every English learner. Fluency is not built in one day. It is built one practice session at a time. It is built one sentence at a time. It is built one conversation at a time. Every small effort matters. So if you sometimes feel discouraged, remember this. You already have the ability to learn English. You already have the ability to speak English. The goal is not to become perfect tomorrow. The goal is to become a little better today than you were yesterday. Your mouth can learn. Your confidence can grow. Your speaking can improve. All of these things are possible. The key is patience and consistency. Keep reading aloud. Keep repeating sentences. Keep shadowing. Keep talking to yourself. Keep answering questions. And most importantly, keep going. One day you will look back and realize that the English that once felt difficult now feels natural. The conversations that once scared you now feel comfortable. The words that once stayed inside your head now come out smoothly and confidently. You do not need special talent. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need a perfect accent. You simply need daily practice and the courage to keep speaking. Every learner can improve. Every learner can grow. And every learner can become a confident English speaker. If you enjoyed this lesson and learned something new today, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me in the comments, what is the biggest challenge you face when speaking English? Do you understand English but struggle to speak it? I would love to hear your story. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember that every sentence you speak is one step closer to fluency. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.